energy. Welcome to the SEC on ESPN. Clay Matvick, Brian Greasy, Allison Williams here in Auburn, Alabama. Always a wonderful sight on game night. College football primetime presented by 5 Hour Energy. Tonight, the number 23 Auburn Tigers back at home to face the Rebels of Ole Miss. It's a crisp night here in Auburn. 57 degrees, light winds under clear skies. And Ole Miss wearing all gray for just the second time. They wore this look against Auburn last year in Oxford, a 51-31 Auburn win. And Ole Miss will receive the football after winning the toss. There's that all gray look. Cody Parkey has it teed up, and we're underway on the Plains. And Tobias Singleton will take a knee for Ole Miss. And Randall Mackey, the junior out of Bastrop, Louisiana, will make his first SEC road start at quarterback for the Rebels. He led the team's best offensive showing this year against Arkansas last week. 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus a rushing touchdown. He gives them an element they didn't have up to then.
Yeah, they jumped out to a 17-0 lead in the first half against Arkansas, and a lot of it was because of Randall Mack and his ability to extend plays, use his feet, and create after plays break down. He'll need that in droves tonight if they're going to compete against Auburn.
The speed back Jeff Scott, who they like to get out on the edges in the backfield. They fake a pass to him in the flat. And he will take it out of bounds. There's a penalty flag down. Penn Wagers is our referee tonight. And it's going to go against Ole Miss.
Jeff Scott is the kind of player that gives defensive coordinators nightmares. He's so quick. They're going to try to get him the ball as much as he can. You see the block in the back right there on the outside. That's Aaron Morris, the left guard, who's a true freshman. You got to understand, when that back is turned to you, you just can't put your hands on that player.
Now, this is what really hurt Ole Miss last week in the game against Arkansas. They had 12 penalties a week ago and already won for Houston Nutt's team tonight. Ole Miss comes into this game 2-5 overall, 0-4 in the SEC. Their last win in league play, October of 2010. They go to Scott on the ground, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. El Toro Freeman, the middle linebacker, makes the stop, no gain.
This is a tough Auburn defense. Gene Chizik told us yesterday that this defense has gotten better. The first 3 games of the season were absolutely awful, and defensive coordinator Ted Roof, this defense has gotten better each and every week. They're playing 9 freshmen on this team in the 2 deep on the defensive side of the football, and they've learned quite a bit in the last 6 weeks.
Second down and 20. Scott finds some running room. And he is going to be close to the first down. That's a gain of 18, just shy. And he's one of our impact players tonight.
Yeah, we talked about him twice now already. Jeff Scott has just got the speed to get to the outside. You see 5th in the SEC. They're going to get him the ball in all kinds of ways, running and receiving. They've also got some other talent on this offense at the wide receiver position. Nick Brassel, just a true freshman. He's got the kind of speed that has Houston Nutt really excited. And then defensively for Auburn, Nico Thorpe has been here quite some time. The senior is the leader, unquestioned leader of this defense. 3rd down and a long yard for Ole Miss on their first possession. Mackey from center. Backs up, throws, has a receiver, it's complete. And there is Brassel. Now, you said it, he is electric. 8 catches, 70 yards last week. Missed opportunity for Auburn. They had Ole Miss backed up with the penalty. They get a long run on 2nd down, and then that 3rd down conversion. Very impressive from young players. Brassel, a true freshman, and also Randall Mackey, who's only making his 4th start at the quarterback position for Ole Miss. Brassel getting that 3rd down conversion. They're just 30% on the year. That's 10th in the SEC. Here's Brassel again on the screen. Ball comes loose. Auburn scoops it up. Picked up by Lemonier.
Corey Lemonier scooping up the loose football. Great field position for the Tigers.
With youth comes inexperience, and inexperience leads to turnovers. You don't secure the football well enough on the slip screen. You got plenty of talent. Nick Brazel, he's going to make a lot of people miss. He's going to make a lot of plays, but at the end of the day, you've got to secure the football. And that time, El Toro Freeman came from behind to punch that football out.
El Toro Freeman, who they naturally call the Bull, popping it loose. Lemonier scooping it up. The sophomore, who's having a great year, leading the SEC with 6 sacks, gets the fumble recovery. Now 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Here's Michael Dyer on his first carry. And he'll get it inside the 35, a pickup of 7. Jackson in on the tackle. As you look at Clint Mosley, the starting quarterback for Auburn. His first career start last week at LSU. 12 for 20, 145, no touchdowns, and an interception that was returned for a touchdown. But the coaches say he passed the test.
Yeah, he certainly did, in a much friendlier environment to start tonight at home.
He'll whip it out into the flat. This is Quan Bray. And he's got enough for the first down. The freshman receiver out of LaGrange, Georgia, picks up 4, and they'll move the chains.
The thing you're going to see from Clint Mosley, very confident player. He's been in this system now for 2 years. He understands how Gus Malzahn wants to run this offense, the tempo with which he wants to run it. And he's got plenty of arm, Clay, to throw this football anywhere on the field.
He'll step back in the gun here. And he'll hand off to Dyer. Now, Dyer is the power guy they like to get between the tackles, but out on the edge, he's got speed too, and he picks up 10.
Yeah, and a nice block on the outside from Emery Blake, and I know that Gus Malzahn, Gene Chizik, and all of the Auburn Nation are very happy to see number 80 in blue back on the field. He has been their best player for the last 2 years on offense, and he is welcomed back with open arms after an ankle injury, his first action.
An injury happened on October 1st. He's essentially been out since then. Now an inside handoff to Ontario McCaleb, his first touch here tonight. An excellent 1-2 punch with Dyer as he gets 6 here. Those two combined for 279 and 2 touchdowns last year against Ole Miss.
Yeah, make no mistake. You can talk all you want about the high-flying offense of Auburn and Gus Malzahn, but this is a 2-back downhill running team. And Dyer is going to run in between the tackles. McCaleb will be the speed sweep guy on the outside. Both of them very effective.
Trying to take advantage of the turnover. Auburn on their first offensive series. This pass incomplete. Intended for Lutzenkirchen, the tight end. Joel Kite, the weak side linebacker, out there in the coverage. So Mosley, the native from Leroy, Alabama. Population 910, about 3 hours south of Auburn. You can see the numbers against LSU. Congratulations, you're the starter, and now you've got to go out and start against LSU.
He took the right attitude, though. He didn't look at it as, you know, this is too big for me. The stage was not too big. He was confident, and he played well outside of 1 interception.
Play fake. Lutzenkirchen to the goal line. Did he get it? Yes, touchdown. Philip Lutzenkirchen, a 13-yard touchdown reception, and Auburn capitalizes on the Ole Miss mistake.
Just a pick play on the inside there. Lutzenkirchen releases in the flat and an accurate throw. All he does is score touchdowns, man. It seems like every time he catches the football, he's getting into the end zone. He is a key part of this Auburn offense.
And now Cody Parkey comes on for the extra point, and it's 7-0 Auburn. The 11th touchdown of Lutzenkirchen's career. That's a new Auburn record for tight ends. Philip Lutzenkirchen takes it in for the Tigers. They lead it here early. An Ole Miss turnover leads to Auburn points, and it's 7-0 here in the early stages of the first quarter. Welcome to Auburn, Alabama, alongside Brian Greasy. I'm Clay Matvick. And here we are 2 months into the season. Gene Chizik, the head coach at Auburn, knew that this might be a retooling year. You lose Cam Newton, you lose Nick Fairley, you got a lot of young guys. But they're 5-3 right now with a lot of winnable games on the schedule. Yeah, well, and they upset in a lot of ways South Carolina. They upset Florida. 2 big wins, and we were talking with Gene Chizik yesterday, and he said, no, a successful year this year, we're going to have to win some games that we're not supposed to win. And I think those 2 games really were emblematic of that. And they're playing 26 freshmen this year. That's so many freshmen that it's difficult to win games in the SEC West when you're playing that many young players. They lost 24 seniors from a season ago. And Ole Miss will start at the 20 for the second time. Now, specifically on defense, Auburn is young, and really so is Ole Miss. Both of these teams youthful. Auburn is getting through it a lot easier than Ole Miss is. They've got more growing pains. Yeah, and you see so many on the defensive side of the ball, and defense is what wins in the SEC. Make no mistake about it. And you know, the thing about these 2 teams, they're still trying to figure out who they are. And we're 2 months into the season, but these teams, make no mistake, will be better next year and 2 years from now because of the fact they're playing so many young players. Ole Miss turned it over on their last possession. Here is Mackey, complete to Dante Moncrief, and he's got enough for a first down. He had 4 touchdown catches through the first part of the season, 3rd in the nation among freshmen. He had 2 last week against Arkansas. They're real high on this guy. I like the approach coming out, throwing the ball on first down for Ole Miss. Get your young quarterback into a rhythm. Get the ball to your playmakers, both true freshmen at the wide receiver position. Brazel had a turnover in the last series, but you got to go back to him. You're going to need him throughout the course of this game if you want to win. On first down, they go to Brandon Bolden. Bounces off a tackle, keeps those legs moving, and picks up 6 yards. The senior season for Brandon Bolden has been a disappointment so far. You've got an ankle injury, a 1-game suspension that he's had to deal with, but he's a captain, and they're looking to him for leadership down the stretch here. Well, and Auburn knows very well who Brandon Bolden is. And despite the fact he's been hurt, suspended, they expect to get his best shot. His senior year, you know you're going to get everything out of Brandon Bolden tonight. Mackey out of the gun. 2nd down and 3, in trouble and down. El Toro Freeman nails him for a loss of 7. Nosa Igwe in there as well, number 94. There's pressure off the edge. They bring the safety. They bring a couple of linebackers and nobody downfield to throw the football to. And Ole Miss kept in 6 people to block that blitz. Only got 4 guys out in the route, nowhere to go with the football. There's Ted Roof, the defensive coordinator for Auburn. This defense is hungry after a poor showing against LSU last week. Scott gets on the edge, and he is dangerous there. Out to the 45, the 46-yard line before he was brought down. I'll tell you what, if you can convert 3rd and 10, running the option on the edge, you're going to have success on offense. And that's exactly what Ole Miss did. Took a conservative approach. But when you have speed like Scott, you can turn small gains into big gains and convert for you in 3rd and long situations. Scott stays in as the tailback. And he'll get it again. And this time tripped up. No gain as El Toro Freeman makes the stop. Let's go to the studio for an update.
And Eddie Schroff here with your Dr. Pepper conference update. Florida and Georgia, 4th and 10 for the Gators. John Brantley sacked by Javaris Jones. Georgia up by 4 in a game they trailed 17-3 at one point.
Huge game in the SEC East tonight. Brandon Bolden in the backfield on 2nd down and 9. Bolden runs into that defensive front of Auburn, and Jeffrey Whitaker meets him and pushes him back, a loss of 2. Well, we talked about Nick Fairley briefly, Brian. They really miss him this year. Whitaker and Carter now the guys that they're looking to in the middle. Yeah, they're starting 4 sophomores, true sophomores on this defensive line, and they had so many injuries. Ted Roof said we were rotating in 10, 12 defensive linemen at the beginning of the year, and now they're down to these 4 or 5 guys. They got to play a lot of snaps tonight
against an offense that's going to make them move sideline to sideline.
Ole Miss has converted twice on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 11. Mackey again in trouble. This time escapes. Being chased, and he'll step out of bounds. Freeman in pursuit. And it'll bring up 4th down and long. And Ole Miss will kick.
Randall Mackey has the ability to extend plays. You can have a free rusher right up the middle. That last play, Gabe Wright, the defensive lineman, came scot-free. They just have to break down and contain Randall Mackey, but nowhere to go with that football on the perimeter. Good coverage downfield by Auburn secondary.
Juan Bray is back to return this kick from Tyler Campbell. And it's going to hit at the 20. Takes a nice Ole Miss bounce inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. 7:05 to go in the opening quarter. Auburn on top by a touchdown. ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by 5-Hour Energy. The no-wait, no-hassle way to a great morning. Visit 5hourenergy.com. Couple of days before Halloween, but they're already in the spirit here in Auburn, Alabama, and it's perfect. They've got orange in their color scheme, so it works out well for a lot of these folks. Great atmosphere here tonight as Auburn, number 23 in the nation, one of 6 SEC teams in the BCS rankings, hosts Ole Miss tonight, and already leading 7-0, and they take over deep in their own territory.
All this orange, I thought I'd see a pumpkin or two out there. I didn't see any in the crowd.
Some good costumes, though. Clint Mosley and the Auburn offense going back to work. This is a handoff to Michael Dyer. And he'll get about 5 on 1st down. Williams on the tackle. And speaking of Williams, let's go down to our 3rd member, Allison Williams, down on the field.
Thanks, Clay. Emory Blake is making his return from an ankle injury, wearing a new pair of shoes. He's wearing a test shoe from Under Armour that has a metal plate in the base of the shoe to help provide more support. It limits the bounce. Also, it laces up and around his ankle, so you don't need to tape the ankle or use spat. These are both efforts to give more support to the ankle for when he plants and cuts, and he's been wearing it in practice, breaking it in, very happy. So, guys, I'm telling you, it's all about the shoes.
Yeah, and he makes a catch here and picks up a 1st down.
Right on cue.
11-yard reception.
I saw those shoes in pregame, and they look like alligator boots, man. They got pattern on the side of them. They go all the way up, halfway up his ankle. It's like something that the boxers wear, Muhammad Ali style.
Well, he's been practicing all week. Looks like he's close to getting back to 100%. There's Michael Dyer now, and this is going to be a loss of a yard on the play as Ole Miss did a nice job defending the Auburn running game. Pena making the tackle. There's Gus Malzahn.
Yeah, and Gus was really excited to have Emory Blake back. He felt like he's one of the better receivers in all the SEC, and he adds a different element, different dynamic to this offense, which has struggled the last 4 games. They haven't scored more than 20 points in any of the last 4 games, and he's hoping that the return of Blake will help them tonight.
Just 10 last week in a 45-10 loss.
Played a pretty good defense.
Yeah, and number 1 LSU. Gene Chiswick said, you know what, we got whooped. Worst loss since Gene Chiswick's been here. Pass over the middle is complete, and there is Blake again. Out to the 40. A gain of 17 as Clint Mosley was right on the money with that throw.
Yeah, his ankle looks to be fine tonight. Nice break. You see when he puts that weight on the ankle to make that break, you know that he's feeling pretty good, and an accurate throw from Clint Mosley for the 1st down.
Mosley on that last series, his first touchdown pass as he hit Lutzenkirchen. Drive it again. Here's Dyer. And he's got enough for a 1st down into Ole Miss territory as he busts loose for 12.
Gus Malzahn told us yesterday he wants to get the tempo faster with Clint Mosley, and he wants to mix in the run and the pass. That's where they feel like they're the most dangerous, when they're throwing the football and running it on successive plays.
Back up the middle. Dyer. And he'll pick up about 4. Justin Smith, the nose tackle, makes the stop.
And he said the most important thing to that tempo is the first down in the series. You can't go out there and go 3 and out and have tempo. You got to get that first down. You saw when Blake caught that pass and got that first down, then that tempo started to come.
Here's Mosley on 2nd and 7. Pumps. Now goes deep down the middle. Has a receiver. Caught. Touchdown. Quindarius Carr. The senior from Huntsville, Alabama, a 45-yard touchdown catch as he beat Charles Sawyer deep.
Pretty good start for Clint Mosley. First quarter, his first two career touchdown passes, one to Lutzenkirchen and a great throw there to Quindarius Carr.
That's the longest pass of Mosley's career. And he is smiling on the Auburn sideline. 7 plays, 92 yards, and 241.
Yeah, we go back, and there's a pump fake to the left. Right here, freeze it there, guys. You're going to see he pumps left. And this great route by Quindarius Carr. The safety is full, goes the other way, and then an accurate throw. This ball sometimes is underthrown. If it's underthrown, it's not a completion. That one's perfect, on the money to Quindarius Carr.
Gus Malzahn telling you and I that he is still learning Clint Mosley. I think he's learning that he likes what he sees with the deep ball.
Well, and that's something that, you know, Barrett Trotter doesn't have quite the arm strength that Clint Mosley has. But I think what Gus Malzahn is going to figure out very quickly is that Mosley is a trigger man. He has the confidence to throw that ball deep down the middle, but give credit to the offensive line as well. Great pocket to throw from.
Back in August, Mosley lost the battle with Trotter, and he'll admit it. It was the biggest disappointment of his life. But now he's getting his chance and so far making the most of it.
Yeah, and he said at that time, you know, I wasn't as mature as I thought I was. And I thought that was really insightful from a young college student to feel that way, that I had some growing up to do. And I thought I had everything figured out. I thought I was ready for the starting quarterback position. But when it wasn't there for me, I realized that it wasn't about everybody else. It was about me. And I needed to be a little less selfless and be a teammate. And that's what he did.
That's the third touchback tonight off the foot of Cody Parkey. I mean, he has got a big leg. And Nova has that look in his eye again tonight. And it's all War Eagle tonight so far, 14-0.
I think Nova has that look every night, to be honest. No need for Nova to dress up for Halloween. He's all set.
Yeah. Boy, that is majestic when he comes in before the start of the game. Flies down from the stands. All kinds of looks tonight in the crowd. So here's Randall Mackey back at the controls. The reverse. Scott on the end around. This is Brazel. And he gets the first down. A 13-yard run. Nick Brazel will also show up on defense tonight for Ole Miss. They want to get the ball in his hands any way they can.
Certainly, and you see why. The speed here, he almost outran the entire Auburn defense. Credit to Enrique Florence, number 14, of great effort and hustle to make this play. But
talked about it before. He had that turnover, which led to an Auburn touchdown, but they go right back to him because they trust him that much. They trust his talent. Anyways, timeout called by Ole Miss. 3:53 to go in the first quarter, and the number 23 team in the land already has 2 scores on the board. Back in Auburn, 14-0. Tigers on top. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. 3:53 to go here in the opening quarter. Ole Miss has it. Time now to take a look at tonight's Quest for the Coaches Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. An update on the game between Georgia and Florida in Jacksonville. 24-20 the final as Georgia prevails. They really do themselves a big favor in the SEC East race.
Oh, huge game now. They're 5-1 in the conference. You know, they've won 6 straight games since those first 2 losses to Boise and to South Carolina at the beginning of the year. And you got to think that Georgia might have the easiest road to the East Division Championship. South Carolina still got to play Arkansas. So Georgia with Kentucky and this Auburn team in 2 weeks will probably be their toughest to test.
Here is Scott Trying to get on the edge on the right side. He's going to get a couple before Jonathan Evans makes the stop. Now, Auburn can really affect that SEC East race. As you mentioned, they still have to play Georgia. And Auburn can also affect the race in the West because they've got Alabama lying ahead, too.
I think they have a better chance to affect the East than the West. Georgia's a little different story than Alabama.
And 8 straight runs now for Ole Miss. And it's a first down, a gain of 14 there for Scott.
It's a critical drive for Ole Miss. Down 14-0 in the first quarter on the road against a good Auburn team. And Houston Nutt needs to get something going on this drive. Randall Mackey's got to be able to pull the trigger, got to secure the football. I like the approach already. Double reverse, and that time getting on the edge with Scott.
Brandon Bolden tries to bounce it ahead. No gain. South Carolina, Tennessee, an update with an H.
All right, Clay, special teams. Not so special for South Carolina. Tennessee punting. Ace Sanders calls for the fair catch. He doesn't catch the ball, though Tennessee would recover. It would lead to a volunteer field goal. Tennessee up 3-0. Still plenty of time in the first. Georgia with its 6th straight win, knocking off Florida, as you guys talked about, and Arkansas barely held off Vandy.
Yeah, Vanderbilt should have won that game today. They'll tell you that. Mackey goes deep, knocked down. Enrique Florence doing a great job, number 14 in coverage for Auburn as Moncrief was racing down the field for the catch.
We were talking with Houston Nutt, and he felt like Randall Mackey threw the ball really well downfield deep. This one's outthrown a little bit short, but you got to come back to that football. Moncrief's got to fight back, physical through the defender to that ball, high point it. You either catch that ball or get a pass interference call, and that's just experience. A young, true freshman receiver, he'll learn to fight back to that ball.
Here's another 3rd and long for Ole Miss. Part of the reason they're only 30% on the year. Mackey's going to keep trying to run for it. Needs to get inside the 40. And he is going to be darn close to that first down. Davis, the cornerback, made the stop. But Mackey may have picked it up.
Looked like he was very close, Clay, and he did get that first down. You see the ability of Randall Mackey. You give him a rush lane anywhere, and this is a designed quarterback draw. Safe call from Houston Nutt right there, and he understands that Mackey in the open field can make people miss and gain yards.
One of the reasons that David Lee, the offensive coordinator, and Houston Nutt decided that Mackey was the guy to start at quarterback. Zach Stout and Barry Brunetti have also started this year, but Mackey's mobility gives him the edge right now. Brandon Bolden, he gets loose to the 20, inside the 10, still on his feet, and down to the 1-yard line. A 39-yard run for Brandon Bolden, setting up Ole Miss on the doorstep.
And you're going to see just the power play. Left guard, Aaron Morris comes through, gets a block, and then one broken tackle by Brandon Bolden. And you see, he is dangerous. He's been sleeping a little bit in the SEC because of some of the issues he's had. But you get him to the second level, and he will make you pay. Your head goes down right there. Nico Thorpe, he knows better than that, the senior.
Bolden again in the backfield. And it will be Bolden. To the goal line, touchdown Rebels. Brandon Bolden punches it in, and Ole Miss is on the board.
That's a great answer by the Rebels. Just power football. That last play, the power. Here you get a counter on the weak side. Not a big hole there for Brandon Bolden. Just tremendous effort. Goal line running is not about scheme. It's about effort. And right there, Brandon Bolden got it in the end zone.
26th career rushing touchdown for the senior. And now Bryson Rose comes on. And he nails the extra point, and it's 14-7 as Ole Miss is heard from for the first time tonight. An 8-play drive covering 80 yards for the Rebels on the road tonight at Jordan-Hare. Ole Miss gets on the board to cut Auburn's lead in half. It's now 14-7 late in the first quarter. Well, this Monday on a special Halloween edition of the Palmer and Pollock Show, find out what tricks the boys have up their sleeves to break down #1 LSU and #2 Alabama. The big showdown coming up on November 5th. Palmer and Pollock Show on Halloween Monday. Of course, Auburn lost to LSU last week. Ole Miss lost to Alabama this year. Both lopsided scores. These teams will tell you that those are two of the best teams in the country, obviously. Andrew Ritter kicks it off. Parisi bobbled it and gets it out to the 23.
Go back and look at that last drive. Nico Thorpe, the senior safety for Auburn, has played in his 36th consecutive game, and he knows better than you. If you can't hit what you can't see. His head goes down right there, and he misses the tackle on Bolden. And then on the touchdown, take a look in the hole. Bolden's going to be there, and Nico Thorpe will be there. Is where the head goes down again, Clay, and that's a rookie mistake from a senior that's been playing very good football for Auburn in the secondary, but he knows better.
Coaches were talking about his maturity and how much he's become a leader. Leads the team in tackles, but yeah, got to have those from your leader. Here's Mosley now out of the gun, gives it to Dyer. Michael Dyer came loose across the 25-yard line.
That ball came loose too.
Ole Miss says they have it, and yes, they do. Ole Miss recovering the fumble by Michael Dyer. Kentrell Lockett recovered it for the Rebels.
Wow. What a turnaround. Dyer comes up in the hole. He gets hit. It looked like Mary, the linebacker, got his left paw on that football and brought it out. And Kentrell Lockett falls on the football. Huge turnover for the Rebels now at the 25-yard line of the Auburn Tigers.
Kentrell Lockett is a guy that they really were high on when he came to Ole Miss. Granted, a 6th year from the NCAA this year because of injuries he's had in his career. Comes up with a big play there for Ole Miss. They've got it now, 1st down and 10. Brandon Bolden throws it. Mackey the catch. Trying to catch Auburn napping. And they get it to the 21. First rushing fumble of the season for Auburn. They have been great with ball security.
Yeah, and in this kind of an offense where a lot of misdirection, a lot of reads by the quarterbacks, it's surprising to see that they have not fumbled the ball more than they have. And for Michael Dyer, usually very secure with the football. That's uncharacteristic.
They had their first fumble lost last week. That came on the kickoff return. Here's Jeff Scott trying to get to the edge. Boy, he is popped hard at the 21 by Davis. Chris Davis, the cornerback, got back to the line of scrimmage no more. So 3rd down and 5 coming up for Ole Miss.
Oh, that last play, too. Credit Darren Bates, the linebacker. That was just a straight option, and Bates came up and took the quarterback initially and then had enough speed to run with Jeff Scott on the perimeter, almost tripped him up. That was impressive from a linebacker.
Well, that's the end of the first quarter, and Ole Miss has some momentum as the quarter comes to an end. They've got a 3rd down and 5 coming up deep in Auburn territory, down just a touchdown here on the road. It's 14-7 here in Auburn. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Alongside Brian Greasy, I'm Clay Matvick. Allison Williams down on the field. 14-7 as we start the second quarter. Auburn on top, but Ole Miss driving, and a big 3rd down and 5 for the Rebels coming up.
Yeah, this is a big 3rd down for Ole Miss. They've got to convert on that turnover, down 14-7. This is a great opportunity for them. If you're Auburn, you have to anticipate that Randall Mackey's going to get this ball running in some way, shape, or form. I expect Auburn to bring some kind of pressure internally, so look for Houston Nutt maybe to think that and throw the ball on the perimeter to a couple of his speedsters, maybe get the ball to Jeff Scott on a screen or to Brazel on a slip screen.
Ole Miss has had a hard time running the football this year, but showed some signs of snapping out of it last week. 113 yards on the ground in the first quarter. It's a big third down for both teams. Auburn has struggled defensively getting off the field on third down. Opponents 46%. And Ole Miss 3 for 4 tonight. Bolden in the backfield with Mackey. Out of the gun, looking to throw. Mackey lobs it up toward the end zone, way out of bounds. Incomplete. It was intended.
That was neat, the halfback. Yeah, and that ball was just thrown way out of bounds. I don't understand that play call right there. You try to get your quarterback to read the defense on a difficult route. I thought they might try to get that ball on a quick screen. That was a long developing play.
And Bryson Rhodes comes on for a 38-yard attempt. And Ole Miss gets points. He has made 15 field goals in a row now. Not exactly what Ole Miss was hoping for, but as we're in the early stages of the second quarter, they're down just 4 points to the number 23 team in the country. And Gene Chizik told his team as they were preparing for Ole Miss, this might be the best 2-5 team in the country.
Yeah, and I think they're going to find out very quickly if they don't take care of the football, if they turn it over and give short fields to Ole Miss, and if Ole Miss continues to run the ball like they have in the first quarter, this could be a long night for Auburn.
Ole Miss did not get the touchdown, but they're in this game. They're looking good right now.
Certainly, and they gave Arkansas a game last week. They were up 17-0 in the first half, but then they gave up 29 unanswered points. Ole Miss has got to play better defensively against Auburn if they're going to stay in this game.
Big turnover that really cost Auburn there and gave Ole Miss the opportunity, and they took advantage of it. Didn't get the touchdown, but got 3 on the board. Randall Mackey, Ted Roof told us this week, reminds him a little bit of Randall Cobb, the former Kentucky weapon.
That's a great comparison for Randall Mackey. I'm not quite sure I agree with Coach Roof. Randall Cobb was a very explosive player. Randall Mackey's got a lot to prove.
Taken by one of the up men to the 23-yard line. And that's where Auburn will have it. ESPNU, the home for passionate college football fans, as our experts break down top schools in the nation in a weekly 3-hour special. Don't miss the unfiltered conversation 1 and 7 o'clock Eastern on Tuesdays on ESPNU. Last week, they spent a lot of time talking about the upsets, Wisconsin and Oklahoma. The upsets last week. This week, they're going to be doing a lot of looking ahead to that LSU-Alabama game. Who do you like in it?
As will a lot of people be looking ahead to that game.
You going to pick anybody?
I'm going to make you wait.
Dyer in the backfield, but they throw on first down, incomplete. Clint Mosley, too tall as he tried to hit Henry Blake. Let's go down to Allison.
Guys, on the Ole Miss side, secondary coach Keith Burns told his guys before they took the field, just relax and play the game. He said this is going to be a long night. Those 2 plays are over with, and he told his guys you cannot attack. If you're worried or thinking, go out there, play fast. And then he added, guys, let's have some fun. Look around. This is awesome. Let's go.
Good atmosphere here, 80,000 plus in attendance tonight. Trey Mason getting his first touch, a dynamic true freshman out of Florida who they've used a lot in the return game, sparingly in the run game, gets his first carry. Damian Jackson makes the tackle after a gain of 8.
No, there's an embarrassment of riches on this Auburn offense running the football. They got 4 guys that average 5 yards a pop with Mason, McCaleb, Michael Dyer, and the man who just checked into the ball game, Kyle Frazier. He's averaging almost 5 yards a carry, so they've got a lot of options.
He's a true freshman that Gus Malzahn uses as the Wildcat quarterback, and Ole Miss was ready for him. Sir Darius Bryant, the weak side linebacker, drops him for a loss of 1.
Huge stop by Ole Miss there. 3rd and 2. They bring in their big horse, Kyle Frazier, thinking he can run the quarterback power and convert for Gus Malzahn, but good surge up front by that defensive line of Ole Miss, and now they've been on a long scoring drive. They've got a turnover and a 3-and-out against Auburn. Very, very good signs for Ole Miss early.
Stephen Clark will come out to punt for Auburn. He leads the league with 25 punts inside the 20. Jeff Scott is standing at the 25. And he's going to come up for it. Fair caught at the 36. 32-yard punt for Stephen Clark. Toomer's Corner. They're hoping that there's toilet paper hanging in the trees tonight. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. We're in the second quarter. 13:09 to go before half, and Auburn leads at 14-10. But Ole Miss has scored 10 points in the last 2 drives. Auburn turnover. Leading to points for Ole Miss. Out of the gun, this is Mackey. He'll get it to Scott in the flat. Looking for blocks on the screen, and not a lot of running room on the outside as Jamar White ran him out for a gain of 2. Here are the West standings in the SEC. There you see Auburn at 3-2, 5-3 overall. Ole Miss looking for its first conference win. They have lost 10 straight in league play, and everybody looking ahead to that game in Tuscaloosa next week.
Yeah, everybody thinks LSU and Alabama, but don't count out the Razorbacks. They're not out of that race by any stretch. If LSU wins next week, Arkansas and LSU play at the end of the year.
Scott takes the handoff, and he's going to get out close to a first down. I think he got it. It's a gain of 9. Davis pushed him out. And Ole Miss on the ground. Look what they've done tonight. 123 coming in 109, 11th in the SEC on average.
And this offense is very similar to the Gus Malzahn offense. If you remember, we go back a little bit. Gus Malzahn on Houston Nutt's staff at Arkansas in 2006, where he brought this style of offense. Didn't go well between Nutt and Malzahn. He leaves, and David Lee comes in, who's now the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss. So this offense is very similar in style and substance to the one that Malzahn runs here at Auburn, and it's a heavy run attack. This is not the passing spread offense of Oklahoma. This Ole Miss team wants to run the football and then use the playmaking ability of Randall Mackey on 3rd downs.
18 running plays so far for Ole Miss, and 105 yards combined for Scott and Bolden tonight on 13 carries. And of course, the touchdown for Bolden. Mackey goes down the field, and the throw is short, intercepted. Picked off by T-Bell to midfield. And Brassel runs him down inside the 40-yard line. A return of 32 yards for Tasharvin Bell, Auburn's best cover corner, and you can see why.
Just a terrible decision from Randall Mackey. You're going to see on the outside, he's just running a clear route. They want to throw the ball on the second level to Brassel, and Mackey just throws his football up for grabs, and that's the kind of thing that you just cannot have from the quarterback position if you're going to win in this league.
When we were talking with David Lee and Houston Nutt this week, they were talking so much about how they thought Randall Mackey had a great deep ball, but that pass was way short that time.
That had nothing to do with the mechanics. That was all about decision, and you just got to make good decisions. If there's nobody there, pull it down and run. That's what you do well.
Mosley will hand to Dyer. Great run on 1st down. A pickup of 14.
And this completely changes the momentum here. Ole Miss had an opportunity down 14-10 to get more points on the board, and now they turn the football over, give a return, and now Auburn in great shape. And when they intercept passes, good things happen. They win ball games.
And things already stacked against the Rebels. Ole Miss has lost 8 of the last 10 meetings with Auburn, including 2 straight. Dyer again will work his way to the 22-yard line. A gain of 3. Ralph Williams, the middle linebacker, making the tackle. Penalty marker on the field. And it's going to go against Auburn. You predicted it. We were going to see a lot of Michael Dyer and Ontario McCaleb. That's been the case so far.
Well, we certainly have, and you see Dyer is the kind of player, the kind of back that can wear down on you as the game goes on.
5 in the backfield, penalty 5 yards, first down.
First Auburn penalty tonight.
Those are the kinds of things that Gus Malzahn, it just drives him crazy. As you see, they've rushed the ball 12 times and only thrown it 6. That's the kind of formula that Gus Malzahn wants. They're powerful up front, being physical from an offensive line standpoint, and getting both of his best players, McCaleb and Dyer, the football.
And it's Dyer again. It's close to the original line of scrimmage. That was the 9th carry tonight for Dyer. He's got 55 yards. He came into the game 188 yards shy of his second straight 1,000-yard season.
And now he's past Marcus Lattimore, who's now injured, as we know, at South Carolina, but he's the second leading rusher in the SEC, and he is an impressive back. Low to the ground, strong, very hard to bring down.
McCaleb checks back in for the Tigers. Play fake. Mosley comes short to Emory. Blake can't get out of a tackle, and it's going to be a loss on the play. Charles Sawyer, who moved from corner to safety back to corner after the injury to Marcus Temple, makes a beautiful play.
Yeah, great play here by Sawyer. He reads screen, then you have to avoid the block. You see that big tackle coming out. That is not easy to do from a corner position, and the key is recognizing screen there, knowing that that big tackle is going to come out, avoiding him and getting him on the ground.
Ole Miss has had some devastating injuries on defense. Temple and, of course, Wayne Dorsey, the defensive end, also out for the year. Mosley in trouble. Off his back foot, comes short to McCaleb. And he's going to step out at about the 23-yard line as Williams pushed him out. Gets 5 back.
And Mosley is not the most fleet of foot. We were talking with him last night, but he extends this play, and you can see on the back end there was a receiver, Blake, coming open, but the pressure in the pocket forced him to get out. Nice job of dumping that football down, at least making this a more manageable field goal attempt.
Parkey comes on. He is 9 for 12 on the year with a long of 43, and this will be from 41. All 3 of his misses have been from 42 or longer, so this should be within his range. Out of the hold of Ryan White. And it is good. So Auburn adds 3 more here in the second quarter. It's 17-10 with under 10 minutes to go before half.
Denny Schroff here in studio. Mississippi State and Kentucky both looking for their first SEC win of the year. Bulldogs up 7-3. It's the quarterback Chris Relf putting them up 14-3. It's now 14-6. Kentucky on ESPNU next week. They're home for Ole Miss.
Both of those teams a little disappointing this year in the SEC and Ish. Both teams bowl teams a season ago. SEC today, Arkansas barely beat Vanderbilt.
Oh.
Vanderbilt,
crushing blow, Vanderbilt.
Big turnover on the 2-yard line that really killed Vandy. Georgia defeated Florida in Jacksonville. 4th win in the last 22 games against Florida. Doesn't happen a lot. Huge for the Bulldogs. And Tennessee and South Carolina going at it right now. 13 points off of turnovers tonight for these 2 teams. Ole Miss with a field goal, and Auburn 10 points off of turnovers, including a Cody Parkey field goal just moments ago from 40 yards. This is Tobias Singleton to the 25, now reverses field. Stiff arm to the 35 and pushed out of bounds at the 39-yard line. A 29-yard return as Nico Thorpe finally slowed him down.
Oh, great return here. Great patience, kept his balance. Got up into the pile there, and then once you get in that pile, those defenders lose you a little bit. Then you get to the outside, and Thorpe is the only one left. If he doesn't make that play, it's a touchdown.
Turnovers is the theme of this game so far, Brian. Who's going to start protecting the football?
Well, they both need to protect the football, but if Ole Miss is going to get the momentum back in this game after that last turnover, they need something on offense.
Randall Mackey rolling out after the play fake, throws it downfield, incomplete. It was intended for Furbia Allen, the tight end, but Mackey was being chased.
That's a That's a tough throw. People at home might say, you know, why didn't you just put that ball on him? You know, why did you throw it so high? But when you're running full speed to your right, it's very difficult to throw the ball accurately, and he's running for his life here. That is not an easy throw, one he thought he should make, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Both Craig Sanders and El Toro Freeman put a lot of heat on him. Now here's Bolden to midfield, first down and more. On his feet to the 40-yard line. Demetrius McNeil, the tackle, but it's a gain of 20 and a first down for Ole Miss as they're back in Auburn territory again.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with Ole Miss running the football so far. It's just a counter. They pull the guard to seal the edge. They got a lead blocker, and automatically Bolden is right to the second level. You see Thorpe, the safety, has to make that tackle. But Auburn defensively, Ted Roof cannot be happy with the way that they've played against the run already.
There's a player down. It's Jonathan Mincy for Auburn. We'll take a break. Gene Chizik has done a great job here with Auburn. Lost 24 seniors off last year's national championship team. He's had no fewer than a dozen injuries, including guys out for the year, and he's managed to keep it together. They can become bowl eligible with a win tonight. (17-10), 9:21 to go before half. Ole Miss has it first down and 10 in Auburn territory. Got it at the 40-yard line. Bolden straight up the middle. This team is running the ball well tonight, especially on first down.
Yeah, if they're going to stop Ole Miss, they've got to stop them on the ground. We were talking with Ted Roof yesterday, and they've got to be better stopping the run. They're now giving up 7.5 yards per carry tonight. You see 148 yards in the first half. That's not acceptable for any defense. I know they've got a lot of young players that got to get lined up and play their responsibilities, but it's not good enough up front for Auburn.
20 running plays out of the 28 tonight for Ole Miss. They will throw here. Mackey 0 for his last 4 in the air.
Throw it away.
Does not throw it away and takes a hit at the 40-yard line from Desharvin Bell. A loss of 5. He should have got it out of bounds.
Yeah, they want to throw that ball back. They were looking for a throwback screen, a big play to the halfback Bolden. You see he's going to slip out. They want to throw back here. Nobody's open. Throw this ball into the first row of stands. As you do that, you lose 6 yards. You put yourself in 3rd and 10 as opposed to 3rd and 4.
Ole Miss has had a lot of 3rd and longs tonight. It's their 4th 3rd and 10+ conversion attempt, and a timeout called for by the Tigers with 8:15 to go. Well, too many big plays allowed by the Auburn defense last week was the story, especially some big passing plays against LSU. Tonight they're just having a hard time stopping the run.
Well, they're having a hard time, and you know, as we talked again with Ted Roof, he said, you know, when you have young players on the defensive side, sometimes it's just hard to get lined up, much less to read your assignments. And when you play a team like Ole Miss with a quarterback who's mobile, there's a lot of different keys. And despite what motion or what shift or what formation or what personnel grouping might be on the field, Ted Roof says, my guys got to concentrate on Michael or on stopping the run and not on what the shift or the motion is. And so far they've struggled.
A lot of young guys on this defense that, you know, were maybe expected to play a down or so a series a year ago. Now they're playing every down, and they're having a hard time adjusting to their new roles on occasion, we're seeing.
Look out for them next year, 2 years from now. They're going to have a lot of experience.
3rd and 10. Whistle. And flags down.
Delay a game here. That's unacceptable in a timeout situation for your quarterback to allow the clock to run down in a delay a game situation. I'm not sure what the discussion is here, but the play clock said 00. Houston Nutt has a point to make.
You know, Ole Miss seems to contend that it's against Auburn.
Delay of game against the defense. Penalty.
Huh. A delay of game against the Tigers. And this will put the ball at the 35-yard line. So 3rd down and 5. Big break for Ole Miss. This is much more manageable now.
Huge break. This brings the legs of Randall Mackey back into the equation here.
Bolden and Scott both in the backfield with him. Brassel on the field to the right. Here comes the pressure. Mackey complete. Caught at the 22-yard line by Allen, the tight end. A gain of 13. Big play for the Rebels as they convert and keep this drive alive.
Huge play. Watch the protection here for Randall Mackey. There's a lot of crisscrossing in the middle of the field. You got to sort all that out, throw that ball in between 2 defenders. That was an impressive throw and 3rd down conversion for Randall Mackey and a better catch.
Just the 5th catch this year for Allen. Jet sweep to Brassel. Great play by Freeman. Boy, El Toro Freeman has some wheels. The Alexander City, Alabama native quickly got out there to make the stop.
You see a lot of the fly sweep from Ole Miss. They'll get it in the hands of their 2 freshman receivers, Moncrief and Brassel. Those guys have the speed to stretch the defense, and then they try to slam it up inside with Brandon Bolden. That's worked so far in this game. I expect to see more of it.
2nd down and 10. This is the 7th play of the drive for Ole Miss. Fake to Scott. Mackey keeps. Has room. And he's got the 1st down. Randall Mackey, the transfer from East Mississippi Community College, doing what he does best.
Yeah, this Ole Miss offense has Ted Roof on his heels right now. He doesn't know quite who's going to get the football. It was Jeff Scott on that last play. They brought Scott in motion, faked this fly sweep. They fake Brandon Bolden slamming inside in the power, and they run Mackey on the sweep. So you don't know who's going to get the ball right now for Ole Miss on offense.
Mackey keeps again. Did he get it? Now they're going to mark him down just short of the goal line, but it looks like enough for a 1st down.
This time they fake it to Scott on the sweep, and then Mackey right up the middle on the power play. I think he was just short. Yeah, I think his knee's down. He's just short. This is Brandon Bolden territory right here.
And Bolden is in the game. Timeout, Ole Miss. Well, they're going to actually review this. It's not an Ole Miss timeout. They're going upstairs to review that last play on most likely where the spot is.
Yeah, we couldn't see from the angle that we had whether his knee was down. Maybe our guys in the truck have a different angle of that last play, but either way, this is a great opportunity. Houston Nutt wants to get his guys fired up, whether this was a touchdown or whether he's got the ball on the 1-yard line. Ole Miss, a great opportunity to tie this football game up.
Was his knee down before he got the 1st down?
That's a good question. The 1st down marker was just outside the 1-yard line. This will be a good look here. There's his knee down. The ruling on the field was a 1st down inside the 1-yard line. The question is, there inconclusive video evidence to overturn that call?
Fan wagers, come on out and tell us what they found out. It was confirmed. So it will be 1st down and goal at about the half-yard line for Ole Miss. This is an offense that's 116th in the nation, averaging 269 per game. They've already got 212. And they're looking to potentially tie this one up. 1st down and goal. It's Bolden. Touchdown. Brandon Bolden walks it in for the Rebels.
And this stadium is quiet. They are concerned about their defense, especially on the ground. It has been a complete domination by Ole Miss, running the ball at will, inside, outside, Bolden, Mackey, Scott, anybody. It has been an impressive showing running the football for Ole Miss in the first half.
Brandon Bolden with his second touchdown tonight. Rose comes on for the extra point. And we are tied up. Bolden now 69 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Beautiful drive for Ole Miss. And they've got this crowd a little nervous here in Auburn tonight.
ESPN College Football is streaming live on your computer, tablet, or smartphone via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app.
Thank you very much. Back here at Auburn, we're tied at 17. 6:04 to go before halftime. And look at this scoring drive for Ole Miss. 9 plays, 60 yards in 3:48. That offensive line has really settled into a groove for Ole Miss in the last 2 to 3 weeks. The emergence of Mackey and the settling down of the O-line is what Houston Nutt says has turned this offense around.
No
and
doubt.
we're seeing it tonight.
They had 2 really good offensive tackles in Sowell and Massey, and then they mixed in a true freshman at left guard. They get Swindoll, the center, involved, and they are manhandling the Auburn defensive line up front.
Ontario McCaleb is going to bring it out to the 20. And gets it to the 30. And we check in again with Anish Shroff.
All right, Clay, coming up at halftime, we'll tell you how Georgia has taken control of the SEC East. We'll preview next Saturday's tilt between LSU and Alabama. And also Joe Pa making some history as Penn State knocked off Illinois. Clay?
We saw Penn State earlier this season. And still undefeated in Big Ten play. Schedule's going to get tougher, though, for the Nittany Lions down the stretch. Here's Ontario McCaleb in the backfield again for Auburn as Ole Miss has scored 17 points on their last 4 drives. Now we'll see what Auburn can do. Here's McCaleb on the pitch. Can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Aaron Garbutt, the strong side linebacker, forced him out. A loss of 3.
Keep an eye on these first 3 plays, Clay. It's critical because I know Gus Malzahn on the sideline wants to get the tempo up. He wants to run more plays in the first half. Ole Miss is winning the time of possession, 14.5 to 9.5. They need a first down this first drive here to get in rhythm.
And around, and McCaleb is dropped. McCaleb had nowhere to go as he's dumped for a loss of 6 by Kentrell Lockett.
Great discipline. Watch Kentrell Lockett on the left side of your screen. Not fooled by that misdirection. Just make sure that McCaleb doesn't get outside, and then the rest of his friends can come from the inside.
Lockett, a couple of knee injuries in his career, a shoulder injury in 06. He has had a tough career, trying to finish strong here as a senior. So Auburn now looking at a 3rd and a mile, 3rd and 19. They're 1 of 3 tonight on 3rd down. Play clock down to 5. Mosley has time. Looks to the outside, throws a strike to the 40-yard line, and Blake snags it out of midair.
Any questions coming into the game about the health of Emory Blake's ankle have been answered. He's made plays right here. You see him in and out of breaks. A little bit of hesitancy coming out of that break, but a nice throw on the outside and a big first down. Now they can get that tempo going.
Right where that first down marker was going to be. Made the catch, and you said it before, no ill effects on that ankle so far. Another running play for Dyer in a small game. We'll call it 1 as Damian Jackson, strong safety, stepped up.
Coming into this game, my biggest question was, can Ole Miss defensively stop the running game of Auburn? Ole Miss came into this game last in the conference, stopping the run, giving up over 220 yards, and Auburn is significantly better running the football at 183 yards coming in this game, but Ole Miss has stacked up, and it's the safeties that really are filling well. That time Jackson filled in the hole on Dyer.
Empty backfield. Mosley to Quan Bray. Little shake and bake, and he gets a first down. Quan Bray, the freshman, gains 12. And a first down for the Auburn Tigers.
I think Gus Malzahn realizes now that if Ole Miss is going to stack the box with the safeties, I'm going to have to throw the football outside to Blake, to Bray, and to Quindarius Carr if we're going to get some rhythm and move the football.
10th first down tonight for Auburn. You can see that Ole Miss has done a nice job picking up first downs and moving the football. McCaleb inside the 45 down to the 44-yard line. Lockett again making the tackle. Lockett from Hahnville, Louisiana. When he first came to Ole Miss, the ceiling was unlimited. And a lot of NFL teams were taking looks at him, but it's just been a tough career.
Yeah, he's got the prototypical size, and he can rush the passer, and he's got good length, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And he had a torn ACL at the end of last year. Wasn't quite well enough for him to practice in the spring, so it's been a real struggle.
Ball loose. Does Ole Miss have it? Yes, they do, and guess who? Kentrell Lockett, his second fumble recovery tonight.
Looked like the pitch hit McCaleb right in the hands, and he may have taken his eyes off of the football. Let's take a look here. It's just a pitch out, the ball a little bit behind, but McCaleb's got to come down with that football. And sometimes you're trying to get speed to the edge. You know you've got to beat a defensive end. You take your eyes off the football right there. And another big mistake by Auburn on offense.
And McCaleb, known for great hands, one of the best receiving backs in the SEC, can't handle that pitch, and Lockett recovers. Great field position again for Ole Miss. Under 3 minutes to go here in the half. Mackey will run and gets it to midfield, a gain of 2. White on the tackle.
That was a big turnover there because you sensed that Auburn was starting to get a little bit of momentum on offense. Now, were they going to go in before half and score and go up in this game? But now, a great opportunity for Ole Miss at the 50-yard line. Plenty of time, 2.5 minutes to get back in this football game. And Auburn, 2 fumbles now in 18 carries, and they hadn't had any in 344. That's amazing.
It is. Second down and 9. Mackey out of the gun. Good pocket to throw, and does, but sails it over the top of Brassel's head. As Bell was there in coverage. Mackey, a bad throw, or what was that? The issue there?
This is the kind of throw you got to make. I mean, you get a turnover there, and you're at your 50-yard line. You got a guy wide open, and you just throw the ball over his head. And these are the struggles of a young quarterback. Throwing the ball away when there's nothing there, making accurate throws in the intermediate and underneath are critical. You can't just throw the ball down the field and make big plays. You got to be consistent.
Third down and long. The pitch to Jeff Scott, looking for a block, and he will not get enough for the first down. McNeil making the stop, the safety for Auburn. It's a gain of 5, and 4th down and about 3, and a decision here for Houston Nutt.
I'm not sure Houston Nutt doesn't go for it here. It looks like he said, I want to punt it. But tight ball game, 17-17, under 2 minutes. He wants to put Auburn back deep, go into hopefully with a tie ball game at halftime.
And he's got a good punter in Tyler Campbell, who led the nation, I should say, in punting last year with an average of 46 yards. Rugby style this time. And it's going to be dead at the 6-yard line. The college basketball season tipping off on ESPNU Sunday night with the One State, One Spirit Classic. Missouri taking on Missouri Southern. It's at 6:30 Eastern on Sunday. It's that time of year. North Carolina, the #1 team in the country in the preseason polls. Kentucky, #2. Vanderbilt and Florida also in the top 10 out of the SEC.
Oh, Vanderbilt's in the top 10 of basketball. Wow.
#7.
Are they normally that good?
They had a good year last year. They really did. Yes, they did. Long field for Auburn, and they hand off to Michael Dyer. He gets it to the 12-yard line. Gain of 5 Here's Charles Sawyer, the left cornerback who made the stop, but he has been moving around in that secondary for Ole Miss this year out of necessity. There have been some injuries.
Yeah, and he's one of their best players, if not their best athlete. This drive will be very telling of how much Gus Malzahn trusts Clint Mosley in this situation. Does he let him throw the football and operate in the 2-minute drill, or is he going to play this conservative with 1.5 minutes left in the game? They got plenty of time and 2 timeouts. We'll see how they play it.
Second time tonight that Auburn has started inside their own 10. Delayed handoff. McCaleb gets into their secondary for a first down. Stopped at the 21-yard line, a gain of 10. Williams making the tackle.
Helps when you can play it safe and still get a first down with McCaleb. A great run there. Nice blocking up front.
First down for the 22.
Just over a minute to go. 1:15 to play here in the half. And now going down is Mosley. Gerald Rivers, the defensive end, makes a big play. And Gene Chizik is livid.
I think he's upset. They thought he got a face mask right there. You see it. Yeah, Rivers got his hand, but the official was on the other side of him. I don't think he saw it.
And that's not reviewable. 48 seconds to go. Another draw play. McCaleb get it across the 10-yard line for a gain of 3. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
They put the replay up on the Jumbotron, and all the fans saw the face mask. But as you said, not reviewable.
Third down, 21.
25 seconds to go. Houston Nutt has 2 timeouts to use. Could get the ball back, but electing not to call a timeout at this point. And so now a third down situation here. 3rd and 21. Another draw play, and McCaleb slips down. And well short of the first down.
I'm not sure why you don't call a timeout. Oh, just to force a punt. You never know. It could be a bad snap or a dropped kick or something. You got to at least make him punt in that situation.
But Ole Miss evidently content to go into the locker room in a tie game here. 17-all as the Rebels have played very well here in the first half. And Gene Chizik very upset. Talking to Penn Wagers, I guess talking would be an understatement.
He should be more upset at his defense not stopping the run than on that face mask. That was inconsequential.
Tied at 17. Let's go down to Allison.
Thank you. Coach Nutt, first of all, why the decision not to call a timeout there?
I just felt like we could get out of this half right here at 17-17. Momentum's in our favor right now.
How have you guys had so much success running the ball so far?
Just coming after them. Just coming after them. If we're coming off the ball, getting a hat on a hat, and our backs are running hard.
Defensively, a couple big turnovers. What do you guys need to continue to do well?
Let's stop turning the ball over. Let's stop turning the ball over and help our defense.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bolden and Scott, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns combined in that first half. The running game for Ole Miss is a developing story in this game, and the Rebels would love to pull an upset tonight. Auburn jumped out to the lead, but we're tied at halftime, 17-all. Now let's go to Anish in the studio. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Houston Nutt trying a different tactic with his Rebels. They have been outscored 47-0 the last 2 games in the third quarter, so he got the guys out of the locker room real early here tonight.
Real early, just to get a little sweat. I think it's more mental than anything. You know, last week they were up 17-7 against Arkansas, and they gave up those 29 unanswered points. So it's been tough for them in the third quarter.
Second straight week that Ole Miss has a top 25 team on the ropes at halftime. They're going to try and hold on this week. If their running game is any indication, they might be able to do it tonight.
They have been fantastic running the ball with Jeff Scott, Brandon Bolden, and Randall Mackey. The combination of those 3 guys has really given Auburn fits. You're going to see here Auburn trying to stop the speed sweep on the outside with bringing pressure up the field. Nice way to stop it, but Ole Miss has read that. Instead of giving the ball here, they would have been stopped on that speed sweep by that pressure. We run it back. Mackey's going to keep this ball and run on the inside. If he does that, the linebackers, Nico Thorpe and El Toro Freeman, have to take care of the middle of the field. Here, they get mixed up, lost in their reads, opens up a huge hole for Randall Mackey, and this has been pretty much consistent all night long for Ole Miss on the ground.
You and I were talking about the 1-2 punch of McCaleb and Dyer for Auburn. Well, how about Bolden and Scott tonight? 69 yards and 2 touchdowns for Bolden. Scott, 68 yards in that first half. They've had 9 running plays of 10 yards or more. And we're only through one half. 172 on the ground, 219 total. This is a team averaging just 269 per game of total offense. Auburn will start with the football here in the second half, and a big return out across the 30 to the 33-yard line for Trey Mason.
This will be an interesting game of adjustments at halftime. Gene Chiswick, Gus Malzahn, very good at adjustments. So is Ted Roof. We'll see how they come out and counteract what Ole Miss has done in the first half. And you got to believe that Gus Malzahn has been frustrated with the way that his offense has performed in the first half of this game, and that the adjustments they make at halftime have got to get the rhythm going and the tempo going on offense.
Mosley was good early, but most of his numbers put up in the first couple of series. 8 for 10, 120, and 2 touchdowns. There's Michael Dyer. The line of scrimmage, and lowers his shoulder, gets to the 41-yard line. Charles Sawyer on the tackle, a gain of 6, so second down and 4.
And the uncharacteristic turnovers in the first half have really stalled Auburn offensively. And I expect to see a little bit more of Kyle Frazier, and he's checking into the game, but I expect to see more of him in the second half.
Frazier hands off for McCaleb. Penalty flag is on the ground. And this is going to go against Auburn. We've not seen Frazier keeping himself yet. We haven't seen him throw the ball yet.
5 men in the backfield on the offense. It's only 5 yards. Second down.
It just hasn't seemed to be that sense of urgency on offense tonight for Auburn. They had that long pass from Mosley on the touchdown to Quindarius Carr early in the game, but since then they really haven't found their rhythm, and it's been a tough struggle from the last 4 games, quite honestly. In the last 4 games, haven't scored more than 17 points in any of those games.
Yeah, this offense has been in a malaise. They can get bowl eligible with a win tonight, but they're in a battle with Ole Miss. Mosley incomplete, intended for Carr, and now 3rd down and 9.
Well, they're trying to find their identity with Clint Mosley, and now in his second start, they're trying to figure out what he does well and what he doesn't do well. And Gus Malzahn is a smart coach, understands the game very well, and he will figure it out. The question is, will they figure it out in time to win this game?
They're 2 for 5 on 3rd down conversion attempts tonight. It's a big one here to get off on the right foot to start the second half. Trying to keep this drive alive.
This is where they love to get McCaleb the ball, let him make a move to make a first down.
Watson Kirkin goes in motion. And they do give it to McCaleb, goes away from the power, and he is tripped up. Damian Jackson, the strong safety, with a big tackle, and it'll be a punting situation for Auburn.
That's a fantastic play by Damian Jackson. He's going to come from his safety position. He's lined up as a linebacker and made a great play on the outside. McCaleb, the fast player. If he gets past Jackson on that, might be a first down. But the tackling has been very impressive from Ole Miss on the perimeter, from their linebackers and their safeties on McCaleb.
Jeff Scott back to return. And a fair catch at the 26. Gene Chiswick this week put it to his team. Guys, who are we? Who are we going to be as this season unfolds? The team that beat South Carolina and Florida, or just showed up at Arkansas and LSU?
Well, he's had a tough job all season, knowing that he's got a young group of guys. And, you know, the thing that really stuck out to me after last week's game against LSU, where they were really outpaced, was, you know, he said there's nothing good in losing. Nothing. I can give you some kind of cliche or coach speak, but I'm not. The thing is that you can learn something. And what you can learn is, can we be mentally tough enough to continue to make the sacrifices day in and day out to be a good team? He's trying to build this team from the ground up, and it's been a struggle.
Jet sweep to Brassel. Not much running room, a gain of a yard. Down to Allison Williams.
Guys, I talked to Coach Chiswick after the half about stopping this Ole Miss run game that posted 172 rushing yards in the first half. He said we have to make some adjustments, specifically rolling some safeties down low to help. But the biggest thing, guys, they have to tackle better. He said it's that simple. We have to be better with our eyes, and we have to tackle better in the second half.
173 tonight. On the ground for Ole Miss. Mackey play fake, throws it out into the flat for Brassel. Looking for a block, not much there. Freeman, a punishing hit. McNeil also there. And it'll bring up 3rd down and long.
They tackle well there. The combination of Freeman and McNeil came up, and there was no question where this receiver was going to go down to the ground quickly. And that's the kind of the hit that will get you energized in the second half, get this crowd back into the game, because they need them on this 3rd down play.
Yeah, they've been on their hands for a lot of the night. 3rd down and 7. 3 receiver set, 2 to the near side. Brassel out on the field. Here's a throw. Mackey coming back for it is Moncrief. It's going to be close to a 1st down, but a marker is down on the play. Bell made the stop.
That came from the side, Judge, in the area of offensive pass interference, and that was a route that sometimes receivers will push off to try to get open coming underneath. But either way,
like a legal man downfield.
An eligible receiver on the offense was covered up. Penalty 5 yards. 3rd down.
Gotcha. Moncrief, the young wide receiver, must have lined up on the line of scrimmage to the tight end side. And if you do that, you're going to see right down here he's on the line of scrimmage.
What they say about Dante Moncrief, you know, he's 6'2", 217 physically. He looks like a college junior, but you got to remember he's still a true freshman. Last year he was playing high school ball. Still has a tendency to make mistakes. Now they get lined up right. Mackey, complete, caught by Moncrief. It'll depend on the spot there. Nico Thorpe knocked him out of bounds, a gain of 11, but yeah, short of the 1st down. So 4th down for Ole Miss.
There's a missed opportunity there, and Houston Nutt knows it. But I don't, you know, I went back and looked at that formation, and I'm not sure that that was an illegal formation, because it was not a tight end to that side, and he would, Moncrief trying to make his case to Coach Nutt, and I tend to agree with him.
Ugly punt by Tyler Campbell, out of bounds. And Auburn will have it when we come back with 11:15 to go in the 3rd. Auburn's going to get the football back at the 34-yard line. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. This is a series that has been dominated in recent years by Auburn. They've beaten Ole Miss in 8 of the last 10 meetings, including the last 2 years, but right now tied at 17 with 11:15 to go in the quarter. Now, the 2003 meeting between these two teams really stands out. There you see the series 26-9 in favor of Auburn, but here is one that Ole Miss got. In the final minutes of the 4th quarter here at Jordan-Hare Stadium, Eli Manning hits Lorenzo Townsend for a big gain. And Brandon Jacobs takes it in from 1 yard out. Auburn had a couple of tries at the end zone late. Obamanu, the drop that so many people, the Tigers fans, will never forget. Jarris McIntyre can't come up with that one, and Eli Manning and company get the win, 24-20. That's the last time that Ole Miss has been able to win in this stadium. Maybe a chance at that again tonight. Here's Michael Dyer on 1st down. Not much. And takes a pop. Damian Jackson held him, and Charles Sawyer let him have it.
Again, Damian Jackson coming up and making his play from the safety position. We were talking with defensive coordinator Tyrone Nix about the importance of safeties tackling for Ole Miss tonight from their quarters coverage. Done an outstanding job.
Give him 2. 2nd down and 8. Boy, the line didn't react. Penalty flag down.
I never get used to watching those offensive linemen just sit there in their stance when somebody jumps off sides, but it's unnerving to quarterbacks to watch that kind of thing. But they felt like they got somebody offside, so they're not even going to budge. And it does turn out to be encroachment on the defense. You better roll out if the offensive line isn't going to move.
Offside, 92 on the defense, penalty 5 yards, second down.
Imagine that gets pretty scary when all your protection gives up on you.
It's kind of interesting to do that too, because, you know, as a quarterback, if a defense jumps off sides, you'd like to take a shot downfield, but if you don't block the defensive line, you're not going to have time to take that shot downfield. So it's an interesting way that Gus Malzahn treats offsides penalties.
So they're spotted now at the 41, second down. It's Dyer again. And he's going to have enough for the first down. Tripped up at the 45-yard line. Sir Darius Bryant made the stop. It's a gain of 4 for Dyer. That was his 14th carry tonight, 73 yards on the ground. This is a workhorse for Auburn. He had 41 carries earlier in the season against South Carolina.
Well, if you're Ole Miss defensively, you're just waiting for Michael Dyer to find his stride in this game. He's got 73 yards, but he gets stronger as the game goes on. The fourth quarter belongs to him.
This is McCaleb on the pitch. Look out. When he gets that edge, he is so quick. Give him 16, and they'll move the sticks.
What's interesting is they continue to have the option game for Auburn offensively, even though Clint Mosley is not a running quarterback. You would think that Ole Miss would try to force Mosley to keep the football and take the pitch man, which is their best player in a lot of cases, McCaleb, but they have not made that adjustment yet.
First down and 10, Auburn. Mosley puts it in the breadbasket of Dyer, picks his way inside the 35, pulled down at the 34 by Ralph Williams. 5 more for Dyer.
Gus Malzahn has found out at halftime that the sweep with Michael Dyer pulling the offensive line, the center and left guard, it's a patented play in his offense to the boundary in a lot of cases. That's been the bread and butter for this team for the last couple of years, and they think that this is going to help them in the second half run the football.
Now Dyer will take his chances up the middle, pushing the pile for a first down. How about that effort from 5'9", 210-pound Michael Dyer? Just keeps those legs moving. And it's a first down for the Tigers.
Those legs those are tree trunks, man. I was down on the field before the game and taking a look at Michael Dyer. He is built low to the ground, powerful, and he's got those shoes on too. Those shoes that go all the way up his ankles there. They
look like wrestling shoes. Dyer again. And this time he's tripped up from behind at the 27 by Williams. Here's 2 plays ago.
This is just getting on the squat machine here and pushing the entire pile down the field. Look at him. He's got those shoes in the middle of that pile. You can find the shoes. He just keeps churning and pushing. Gets a big first down.
Emory Blake wearing those shoes too for ankle support, but Dyer likes them as well. Seem to be working out. Second down and 9 for Auburn. Play fake. Mosley will dump it off short for Dyer. Tries to get away from a tackler, can't do it. As Sir Darius Bryant knocks him down. Bennett there too, a gain of 1. So now third down for Auburn.
Like they wanted to take a shot down the field there on a wheel route to Ontario McCaleb out of the backfield. Good coverage downfield by Ole Miss, and Clint Mosley playing it conservatively, not throwing that ball up. Check it down, see if you can convert on third down.
We've been under average tonight, 2 for 6. Mosley pumps, lobs it up, man wide open, Blake, touchdown. Wow, there was nobody within 5 yards, maybe more. A 25-yard strike, Mosley to Blake.
This is what makes Emory Blake such an important part. Watch, freeze it right here, guys. He's going to run in, the safety's going to bite, and then Emory Blake up for the easy score. The patience of Blake, great route, the discipline, That's what makes Emory Blake such an important part of this Auburn offense.
Blake now 5 catches for 71 and a touchdown. That was his 13th career touchdown catch.
Nice throw from Clint Mosley. Gets his team back up on top, and welcome back, Mr. Blake.
Emory Blake out for the better part of October with an ankle injury. Just put his team on top again, 24-17. Well, this Monday, it's a Halloween edition of the Palmer and Pollock Show. They're going to talk a ton about number 1 versus number 2. That big battle between LSU and Alabama coming up next week. The Palmer and Pollock Show, Halloween Monday at 1 and 9 Eastern here on ESPNU. A couple of days before trick-or-treating, but plenty of costumes here at Jordan-Hare Stadium tonight.
Got the costumes for my little ones at home. I didn't. My wife got them for them, but they're all set, ready to go. I got to find one for me.
What are you going to be?
I'm partial to the old-fashioned, you know, the skeleton, Frankenstein, Dracula. I like the old school. Maybe just a ghost. Put a sheet over it.
I'm just going to be fat again this year. Tobias Singleton from inside the 5. Cuts it up, gets it to the 20, down at the 21-yard line, an 18-yard return. And now Ole Miss, how are they going to respond here? The third quarter, as we've talked about, has been difficult for Houston Nutt's squad this year.
Well, on Halloween, it's been frightening in the third quarter for Ole Miss. 54-0. They have been outscored in the last 2 games, and this one included. Now, it's been against some pretty good competition, Arkansas and Alabama. But nonetheless, they have got to figure out what is the problem in third quarter and do it fast.
Randall Mackey, the leader of this offensive unit, making his 4th start in a row. And he keeps it. Gains 6, so 2nd down and 4. They really like Mackey. Maybe his leadership is still in progress, but athletically they think that he does something that they weren't getting from Zach Stout and Barry Brunetti.
Well, he's the kind of quarterback in this system that can run the football and throw it. And in the Gus Malzahn offense that now is being employed at Ole Miss, that's what you need.
This is Bolden. And he is tough to bring down. Gains 3. Freeman knocks him down before he gets to the marker, about 1.5 yards short. So 3rd and manageable for Ole Miss.
But they are continuing to run the football and do it effectively, bringing up 3rd and short situations. I say Ole Miss, continue to do what worked for you in the first half, running the ball on the perimeter and slamming it inside with Bolden.
That's Scott on the left of Mackey, Bolden on the right. Mackey keeps, and he's got it. Big conversion for Ole Miss.
Was a great cut and move by Randall Mackey to make the 1st down. I think El Toro Freeman may have got a paw on that football, and he looked like he was bobbling it for a second, but he was able to hold on and get a big 1st down for Houston Nutt.
Houston Nutt really pleased, and you can tell when you talk to him, he's so excited about the young playmakers he's got, especially Scott, Brassel, Moncrief, and Randall Mackey. Bolden looking for room on the outside, spins, gets to the 40, and then he's swarmed under. Freeman there first. Also McNeil. It's a gain of 7. Nice run on 1st down again for Ole Miss.
And again, they're blocking well up front. This offensive line, Houston Nutt was talking about it. They had to experiment getting some different players on the inside. They knew coming into this season the tackle position was going to be solid. Bradley Sowell and Massey on the other side were bookends at the tackle position, but the interior 3, they didn't know how that mixture was going to play out. I think they found the recipe.
Especially at center with Swindoll. Here is Scott, and he's going to be about 1 yard short. So another 3rd and very doable for the Rebels.
And I think Houston Nutt will take 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 all night long. That is a very manageable situation for them, and they continue to get positive yards on 1st and 2nd down. It's going to be very difficult for Ted Roof to call up a defense to stop these short yardage situations.
So 2 for 2 on 3rd downs of 2 yards or less. They've got 193 on the ground so far, and now a timeout, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, First time out of the half.
And Ole Miss using its first time out of the half with 4.5 to go here in the third quarter. A 3rd and 2 coming up for Houston Nutt and Company. (24-17), number 23 Auburn leading here at home. The number 23 team in the country this week, even though they dropped out of the AP and coaches polls. And as you look at the top 10, Kansas State the only team to have lost so far. Now look at Clemson at number 5, trailing 17-3 at Georgia Tech right now.
Yep, Stanford up 10-3, but look at that score by Oklahoma State. I mean, Baylor's a good team with a good quarterback.
Yes.
Setting up nice for Oklahoma State at the end of the year.
That's December 3rd. 3rd down and 2. Ole Miss trying to keep this drive alive. They're going to run again. Bolden finds room, 1st down and more. Out to midfield. Darren Bates finally wrestled him down, but it's a gain of 8, and Ole Miss will move the chains.
That's an impressive run. You don't see Randall Mackey under center much, but they just run the power OG, pull the right guard, and Bolden does the rest. That's a statement run right there by Ole Miss. Everybody knew they were going to run the ball with Bolden, and Auburn still couldn't stop it.
So 1st down from the midfield line. Play fake. Mackey deep, wants it all. Threw it short again. Double coverage there. Brassel, the intended receiver, but Thorpe was there, so was Chris Davis.
It's a case of you wanting to throw the ball deep. Freezer right here. When you have a single safety, you can't throw a post route because he goes to the middle of the field. This ball should come to the curl on the weak side. That's just a read by the quarterback, knowing that a deep safety is always going to make a play on a post. You got to come to the weak side and throw the curl.
Houston, that's 6 runs in a row on this drive, and then takes a deep shot.
Well, I don't think he necessarily wanted to manufacture the deep shot. If it was there with no safety, take it. But he needed to throw the curl.
Now Mackey keeps it and runs right into the teeth of that Auburn defense. A gain of 2. Nosa Igwe there, the only D-line starter back from last year's title team. And now a 3rd and fairly long situation.
Difficult situation now. You take a shot on 1st down, and part of developing the trust, the quarterback and your head coach, is making the right reads and keeping yourselves in good situations. And when you make the wrong read on the post, now you put yourself behind the down and distance, and 3rd down, very difficult to convert.
He converted 6 times already tonight. Mackey getting some pressure. Trying to throw it away and does. Flag. Flag in the backfield.
Certainly under tremendous pressure and threw that ball away. There was Moncrief was coming back down the sideline in the vicinity of that football, but this is a judgment call for the official.
Oh. Grounding.
And that official rules it's just not close enough. You're going to see Moncrief right here on the side. He's going to come back down the line of scrimmage there. And that ball just too high and too far. Not in the vicinity of Moncrief, and the penalty stands.
Darren Bates really did a nice job on that play for Auburn. The 2nd leading tackler for the Tigers. Great pass rushers. You can see really threw Mackey off his game. 4th punt for Tyler Campbell. Quan Bray going back for it. Losing ground, trying to make ground. Gets out of a tackle and dives ahead close to the 30-yard line. A return of 9, even though he ran about 29 yards. All right, here's the standings in the SEC West coming up to this point. Auburn 3-2, and Ole Miss still looking for a win. Arkansas barely got a win today at Vanderbilt. And over in the East, Georgia, huge victory over Florida.
Yeah, and despite the fact that they lost to South Carolina, earlier in the year. South Carolina probably has the toughest road left. They're playing Tennessee tonight, then they play Auburn, which will be a tough game.
Here's Michael Dyer. And a run of 5 on first down. Tennessee just threw an interception in that game. South Carolina has the lead. We're going to continue to get you updates on South Carolina, Tennessee. South Carolina's in some trouble, though. You know, with the loss of Lattimore, with the inconsistent play that they've had at quarterback, it's going to be a tough run, and the schedule really tough for South Carolina down the stretch.
Yep, it certainly is.
Dyer, first down and more. It's a foot race. He's got the sideline, hesitates, and pushed out of bounds by Crawford. What a run for Dyer. He shifted into a gear that he knows he's got. Those people in the secondary going, uh-oh.
Well, we mentioned it. It's just a matter of time. He's the kind of back that'll wear you down. They pull the guard around, and he just patience into the hole. And then once he gets to that second level, he's got the speed, surprisingly, for a short, big back. He's got that speed on the second level.
48 yards for Dyer. 139 now on his night. McCaleb, the inside handoff. And he'll get a couple as Justin Smith brings him down to the grass. A gain of 2.
I'll tell you, it's impressive, this offensive line for Auburn, how big they are, but how mobile they are. They can pull around the horn and get blocks on the second level. They're all over 300 pounds. The right guard, Sullen's 333 pounds. He pulled on the last play and blocking a corner on the edge.
Frazier, his first run of the night. Make that his second. My apologies. A gain of 7. Frank Crawford brings him down before he gets to the marker.
Been interesting how Gus Malzahn has used Kyle Frazier. It's been one play here, one play there. He hasn't had successive plays yet in this game. It's really difficult to get a rhythm changing quarterbacks like that, but he must feel like in this third and short situation, he likes Clint Mosley in the game.
3rd and 1. Dyer got it. Auburn set up goal to go. Lockett made the stop. So 1st and goal to go from the 4-yard line. 31 seconds to go in the quarter. And Ole Miss's troubles in the 3rd quarter appear to be continuing.
Well, you just start to get the sense that Auburn is wearing down this Ole Miss defense with the size of their offensive line and with Michael Dyer. And Michael Dyer doesn't get tired. He gets stronger as the game goes on.
Dyer now over 2,000 rushing yards in his career. Needed 188 coming into this game. Touchdown. Michael Dyer. A 4-yard touchdown run. Should say needed 188 coming into this game to get to 1,000 on the season. He's already up over 2,000 for his career. He might get that yet tonight. Might hit 1,000 for the year before this night is over.
That drive was all Michael Dyer.
And the extra point for Parkey.
The thing that's impressive with him is the feet. Take a look at the nimble feet for a big man, 222 pounds. The patience, the cutback right there. He's an impressive back.
70-yard drive for Auburn. They scored twice here in the second half. Michael Dyer has hit the 2,000-yard rushing mark for his career. He'll probably hit 1,000 yards before this game's over for the season. What a difference, though. Auburn from the first half, they had 76 rushing yards. In the third quarter alone, they had 115. They made some adjustments.
Yeah, and I think they're just giving it to Michael Dyer. And I don't know that it's so much of the adjustment schematically as it is just the offensive line coming off the ball, pulling those big guys around the horn, getting up on the linebackers, and then Michael Dyer just taking over from there.
There's Gene Chizik. Many consider the job he has done with this young group pretty remarkable. I mean, you lose 24 seniors from the national title team and some significant talent in Cam Newton, Nick Fairley. You're looking for guys to step up and play maybe ahead of schedule. And then you throw in about a dozen injuries, and they have a chance to be bowl eligible with a win here tonight. Pretty good stuff.
Very good stuff. And if they can get a win tonight and then they have the bye week, maybe they'll get a couple of players back. Then they go on the road to Georgia, which will be a very good game. And then they play Samford, and then at the end of the year, the Iron Bowl. And all of a sudden, you're looking at 7, maybe 8 wins. If they could get 8 wins after what they did last year and how many young players they've been playing, that would be a tremendous success.
Parkey kicks it deep. And this is Singleton in the end zone. He'll start at the 20. 4th touchback tonight for Parkey. What a leg for him. Here's our Taco Bell game track. And Ole Miss, impressive in the first half. The third quarter, boy, that's been their Achilles heel all year.
Yeah, again, I don't know what it is with Ole Miss. They tried to come out early in this game after halftime to warm up, and it's something mental with this team. And Houston Nutt has been unable to figure it out. Now you just hope, if you're Ole Miss, that the fourth quarter can be your quarter. And that's the message that you need to have on the sideline is forget the third quarter. We got an opportunity now.
On first down from the 20, they'll go to Scott on first down. They want him out on the edge. They'll get 4 this time. Let's go down to Allison.
Well, guys, you could notice on the Ole Miss sideline after the half, they just seemed a little more on edge there. It was almost like it was in the back of their mind. They played so well. They had so much energy, even on the sidelines in the first half, and it wasn't quite the same feeling over there in the third. And coaches were just trying to tell them, look, there's a lot of game left. You have to keep believing, but you could tell it was a different feel, even on the sideline.
Houston Nutt 6-7 all-time against Auburn, but 5 of those wins came when he was at Arkansas. Nick Brassel picks up 4 short of the first down. Bell on the hit, so 3rd and short coming up for Ole Miss.
One of the things that creeps into young teams, and both these teams are very young, but the mental aspect of it, the mental toughness, the finding ways to win and not to lose. And you see, I think that's what's happening with Houston Nutt with this team a little bit, specifically in the start of second halves, is everybody on the sideline, the feeling is, okay, what's going to happen now? Instead of saying, I'm going to be the one that's going to make a difference.
85,000 in the ear of Randall Mackey. Ball loose. And Auburn's got it. Nosa Igwe with the recovery for the Tigers.
And what's going to happen next just happened next. And Brandon Bolden just slipped in the backfield. You'll see him lose his balance and doesn't get the hand off the ball, goes right off of his helmet. And young teams, bad things just seem to happen. And certainly not what Ole Miss was looking for at the start of the fourth quarter.
It almost looked like Mackey was trying to pull that away from Bolden. And it hit Bolden. 3rd turnover tonight for Ole Miss. 2nd fumble. They've also thrown an interception. Dyer. As Auburn's going to try and make him pay.
In those situations, and I've been in that situation where you turn around and you extend the ball to a back that falls down. If you see it in time, you'll try to just keep that ball and dive into the middle of the pile and salvage a turnover. But it looked like Bolden was going to try to get back up, and the ball was extended, and it just hit his helmet, and that's what forced the fumble. It's a bad feeling when you turn around and the guy's on the ground, though, I'll tell you that.
Dyer. And he'll get a handful. 3rd down at 4. Brian Bennett, the nose tackle, made the stop.
This is the ball game here for Ole Miss. Down 14 in the fourth quarter, 13 minutes left. You give up another touchdown here to go down 21, and you can pretty much seal this deal. They've got to force a field goal or create a turnover to give them any shot in this game.
Defensive coordinator Tyrone Nix for Ole Miss from about 2.5 hours up the road here in Alabama, Atala, Alabama. Hoping his defense can step up. McCaleb. And he's going to be hit by Garbutt about 2.5, 3 yards short of the first down marker. And now fourth down as Ole Miss's defense, led by that man, a very good football coach, and Tyrone Nix, has stood to this point, and a decision here for Auburn.
Well, you got to kick this field goal to go up 17, but a great stop, the best you could hope for Ole Miss after an unfortunate turnover.
Parkey comes out at attempt of 31 yards. And that's his 11th field goal make of the year. And Auburn adds 3 more. Ole Miss in trouble now. Just 25 yards of offense in the second half. We'll see how they respond after this timeout. Auburn can be bowl eligible with a win tonight, get out to the early lead, but Ole Miss was impressive in that first half. But that offense has dried up in the second half so far. For the second straight week, Ole Miss has let down after halftime. They did it against Arkansas, couldn't sustain it for 60 minutes. We're seeing that unfold here again tonight for the Rebels.
Well, and part of that has to be adjustments, I think. You know, it's coaching staffs, especially in the SEC. The coaches are so good in this league. They'll make adjustments at halftime. They'll make adjustments on the fly, and Ole Miss has just not been able to stay up with the best of the best in the SEC West the last 3 weeks with Alabama, Arkansas, and now Auburn.
Auburn went 3 and out on their first series of the second half, but since then a couple of touchdowns and a field goal. Ole Miss has not helped themselves. They fumbled on their last possession. They're going to come out. Philander Moore from a yard deep, looking for a seam, gets to the 20 and driven down at the 22 by a host of tacklers. ESPNU, the home for passionate college football fans, as our experts break down the top schools in the nation in a weekly 3-hour special. And they're going to be talking about that LSU Alabama game next week in Tuscaloosa. 1 versus 2. 1 and 7 Eastern coming up on Tuesday. The experts on ESPNU. All right, so here's Ole Miss needing to get something going offensively. Just 25 yards of offense so far in the second half. Randall Mackey on the handoff to Scott. Looking to cut the corner, gets it ahead for a gain of 4. Now here's the comparison defensively between LSU and Alabama. Undeniably the 2 best defenses in the country.
Yeah, hard to separate the two, but you see the points per game allowed. You know, LSU had played some good offense, West Virginia and Oregon. And then this number, man, right here is just unbelievable. If that can continue in that game, they'll have a decided advantage.
Having Tyrann Mathieu back, who's been responsible for so many of those takeaways, having him back from suspension is going to be huge for LSU. Mackey. And he'll pick up just 2 on that play as Gabe Wright, the true freshman defensive tackle, makes the hit for Auburn, getting his first career start tonight. You know, after several humbling weeks for Gabe Wright, the highly thought of rookie for Auburn, he is finally starting to see the light.
He's a big man. I was down there on the field before the game, and he's got plenty of size. The question is, does he have the athleticism and the speed off the ball to make plays?
The right tackle moved.
False start, 83 on offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Pardon me, that was the tight end, Furbia Allen, for Ole Miss.
But you're right, they need to find that defensive lineman that can just take over games. And, you know, Gabe Wright so highly touted coming in, he has to earn his stripes just like anybody else. But he's got a great opportunity tonight to start.
Mackey, incomplete. Collins Moore, the intended receiver. And Ole Miss will have to punt.
Randall Mackey had Moore open, streaking across the middle of the field. That would have been a big play, not just a conversion on third down, but that would have been a nice gain for Ole Miss. And he just threw it too far out in front.
You know, we were talking about Gabe Wright, just one of the freshmen on this defense that plays a lot for Auburn. Gene Chizik has made the decision, all right, I'm going to play these guys now. And there are going to be mistakes. There are going to be some setbacks. There are going to be some humbling times, but it's going to be good in the future. And he's liking the way this second half is starting to turn out. Under 10 to go in the fourth, 34-17 Auburn leading. ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by 5-Hour Energy. The no-wait, no-hassle way to a great morning. Visit 5hourenergy.com. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. Alongside Brian Greasy and Allison Williams, I'm Clay Matvick. I know you're a convert to that 5-Hour Energy.
You know, I didn't take mine before the game today, so I'm a little...
You're a little down and out.
I need
you still have most of a quarter to go. You can take it. There's a run of 3 yards as Dyer has another one. Dyer and McCaleb really got things going for Auburn here in the second half on the ground.
Certainly have, and these guys are 1-2 combination, 1-2 punch that have been outstanding this season. They were good a year ago. McCaleb's been good for 3 years, and they're just getting better and better with each game this year.
So second down coming up as Auburn was a little worried there through most of the first half, and then to start the second half, but they've taken over here in the second. Lutzenkirchen, the tight end. He became a star last year during that title run. He is critical to this offense, picks up 11 and an Auburn first down.
I tell you, I love Lutzenkirchen. He is a key to this offense. We were talking with Gus Malzahn. Really, he's a focal point because defenses don't know how to treat him. Is he a running back? Is he a tight end? Is he a wide receiver? He can line up anywhere in the formation, and based on what personnel groupings defenses play when he's in the game, that dictates what Gus Malzahn calls. So really, he is a keystone in this offense.
He lines up as a wide receiver here. And he'll go in motion. He's got 2 catches and a touchdown tonight. They go back to the ground and Dyer. Plenty of room over right tackle. Pushes ahead for a gain of 9. And now Auburn just doing what it wants to.
And that's a great illustration of the value of Lutzenkirchen. Lines up outside in a pass-looking set and then motions back in, disguises the power run game formation. He's able to come back in, seal the offensive line edge there, the defensive end, and a nice gain for Michael Dyer. But those kinds of things go unnoticed to the untrained eye, and Lutzenkirchen does it better than anybody.
Gene Chizik will tell you that ever since that game-winning catch against Alabama last year in the Iron Bowl, he's become a heartthrob around Auburn. All the girls want to marry him.
Good for him.
Dyer straight ahead, now bounces it outside. And he's fun to watch. Finally herded out of bounds by Damian Jackson, but it's a gain of 11.
Again, you get Michael Dyer up the middle here, great feet, and then to the second level, a nice move on the outside. That's almost unfair. And how about Lutzenkirchen again, coming back in, disguising? He's got to see this blitz off the edge. A great job of recognition. That's not easy to do, running away from the blitz and then snapping the ball and having his head on a swivel to see that blitzer off the edge and pick him up.
6'5", 250-pound junior out of Marietta, Georgia. Philip Lutzenkirchen. Now McCaleb again. And Sawyer the tackle. About 3 yards short of the first down. Update in the studio with Anish.
Clay Landry Jones, our AT&T Player of the Week nominee. We'll get to that in just a bit. But first, we have South Carolina's Connor Shaw diving in for the touchdown. 14-3 Gamecocks leading Tennessee. They're going to the fourth quarter in Knoxville. Clay?
Game that South Carolina absolutely feels they have to have. They're at Arkansas yet. still play Florida, and then at the end of the year they're going to play Clemson.
Yeah, that'll be a tough game at Clemson. Won't matter much in the divisional SEC East race, but 2 tough games coming up.
McCaleb has a hole. Inside the 5, down to the 3. First and goal for Auburn.
This one's just guessing right from Auburn. They're going to bring the corner off the edge, and Auburn's got the right play called, running away from it. And it's clicking on all cylinders right now for Gus Malzahn, and Ole Miss doesn't have any answers defensively.
So McCaleb will go to the sideline, and Dyer comes back in. Those two have been impressive, McCaleb and Dyer. Dyer's got 1:15 here in the half. Gets it again, tries to spin out of a tackle, and he's driven down after a yard pickup, maybe 2. We said it before. Last year in this game, it was McCaleb and Dyer doing it. They had 279 combined on the ground with a couple of touchdowns. Similar kind of night tonight from those two.
Yeah, and they've done it to a lot of people. They did it to Oregon in the national championship game. These guys are well documented, and they are stars in the SEC. And for Michael Dyer to have over 2,000 yards as a true freshman and sophomore, that's amazing in this league.
They wanted to get Dyer about 25 touches tonight. Well, he's got 27. And now this is McCaleb, and he is pounded by Aaron Garbutt, and it's a loss of 1. So to bring up 3rd down and goal.
That was a big hit by Garbutt. Look at this in full speed.
Just body slammed him. You know, the linebackers have had a tough year for Ole Miss. And
it's hard catching these guys. When you do catch them, you want to punish them.
He did. See what they set up here on 3rd down and goal from the 4. Play fake to Dyer. They throw it off. Lutzenkirchen. Did he get in? Yeah, touchdown. Philip Lutzenkirchen. Did he catch that with one hand?
Yes, he did. Behind his back. That ball was thrown behind him, and he just snatched it, didn't even bother to bring it into his body, and then extended it. That was amazing. Hopefully he didn't hurt himself. It looks like he's holding that arm a little gingerly. What a play. He deserved it. He was an integral part in the running game of that entire drive. Feed the big fella once you get down there. Reward him.
Second touchdown catch tonight for Philip Lutzenkirchen. And the 12th of his career. And this has gotten away from Ole Miss in the second half. Here's another look at that play for Lutzenkirchen.
Well, he's lining up all over the field, comes in motion, sneaks out just in the flat. Watch it, catch. And then he changes hands and extends to the pylon. That's impressive.
They love Lutzy in Auburn. 3 catches tonight, 2 of them for touchdowns. That last one as pretty as you'll ever see.
Look at, he doesn't break stride when he catches that ball, and then changes hands and extends to the pylon. And I'll tell you, Philip Lutzenkirchen is going to be a prized possession at the next level. I think he has all the talent in the world to play in the National Football League because of his versatility. He's smart. He can block and catch. He's just going to be a tremendous addition to a team in the National Football. And there you see 12 of 37 career receptions for touchdowns. That's a pretty good percentage.
Yeah, you said it in the first half. All he does is catch touchdowns. Kind of like Chris Carter.
Well, I take it back. He does a lot of other good things, too. He just catches a lot of touchdowns.
No problem there. And he's got a dance named after him, the Lutzy.
Oh, he does?
Yes.
You demonstrate?
No, it's a YouTube sensation. If you go to YouTube and look at the Lutzy, you can learn the steps. All right, let's check in the studio again with Denise.
Landry Jones, your AT&T Player of the Week nominee, 505 yards passing in a win against Kansas State. That's an Oklahoma school record. Also set the school record for career touchdown passes. Sooners win big, 58-17. You can text VOTE to 55862 for a chance at the national championship.
All right, Anish, thank you very much. 4:49 to go here in Auburn. 41-17 Tigers. Mosley now 4 completions in the second half, 2 for touchdowns. He has thrown 3 touchdowns on 3rd down tonight. Here's Jeff Scott. He's got a first down for Ole Miss. Let's go down for more on Lutzenkirchen with Allison.
Well, I know you guys were impressed by that catch and touchdown, and so were his teammates. When they showed the replay on the Jumbotron, they all started laughing and high-fiving and ribbing him a little bit. Michael Dyer said that was nice, but he was showing off.
Maybe a little bit.
They thought Allison was going to show off and show us the Lutzy dance.
Yeah.
We need to go back. Get ready, Allison. We're coming back down for a demonstration.
And you know, you said that, you know, of the 37 catches this year, 12 touchdowns, as Bolden will get it into Auburn territory for a first down. You know, not just that, but the catches that he makes, they're at critical times in games, it seems. He's got game-winning touchdowns to his credit. That one earlier this year against South Carolina comes to mind.
He's a master on 3rd down and red zone, and those are the most important plays in the course of a game.
This pass is complete to Moncrief, who they were hoping would be a bigger factor in this game tonight. Gets a first down on the gain of 14. That was his 3rd catch. He's got 34 yards on the night. Mackey comes underneath to Bolden and hit at the 25, a couple of yards short of the first down. Hit by Jonathan Evans, a gain of 8. So now looking ahead for Auburn, they're off next week, as you mentioned, then at Georgia, host Samford for homecoming, and then the Iron Bowl against Alabama. Bolden inside the 15, ball comes loose, but I think they're going to rule him down. Yes, they are. The game at Georgia, Brian, certainly winnable for this Auburn team.
Well, you saw Georgia play Florida today, and Florida's a different team. I think we saw with Brantley at quarterback and with Demps, but when they go to Georgia, they're going to have to figure out a way to be better defensively against the run. The way they played against the run tonight against Ole Miss, especially in the first half, that's not going to get it done against a back like Isaiah Crowell. So they're going to have their hands full, especially playing between the hedges. So that'll be a good game.
A win tonight will get them bowl eligible, but they're looking for a big-time bowl. They want something maybe in January, and they keep the wins coming, and then, of course, the stature of the bowl increases.
Yeah, this will be their 6th win, and you got to anticipate they'll handle Samford. That'll be their 7th win. If they can get 8 at Georgia, you know, they could get to a January 1 bowl, and that would be a success, in my opinion, for a team and Gene Chizik that has played 26 freshmen throughout the course of the year. That's amazing.
It really is. They've got 3 losses, but all to top 10 teams. Well on their way to a win here tonight, number 6 on the year, and that's batted down at the goal line. Good defense in the secondary by Ryan White, the sophomore corner. Knocked it down right at the goal line.
Good opportunity there. That ball thrown a little bit behind. Randall Mackey moving in the pocket, throws it behind the receiver, and White had an opportunity there. That's one that in the meeting room tomorrow, his compadres in the DB room will give him a hard time about that one. That was a chance for a 100-yard return.
And there's a timeout. Auburn calls it. 3:09 to go. This game was tied at 17 at the half, but Gene Chizik said the magic words at halftime. And they have outscored Ole Miss 24-0 here in the second half. Michael Dyer, our Wrangler player of the game, 177 rushing yards and a touchdown. Most of those coming here in the second half. A little over 3 minutes to go. Throw to the end zone. Intended for Moncrief, incomplete. 4th down for Ole Miss.
That ball just thrown way off base. Randall Mackey had a receiver on the slant route. Ole Miss is going to find something out about Randall Mackey. I think he'll have the rest of the season to prove that this is his job to keep, but he certainly has a lot to work on from an accuracy standpoint, throwing from the quarterback position. He's got the skill to run it in the Wildcat and get on the edge, but he's got to work on his accuracy.
Pressure. Mackey steps up. Incomplete. And Auburn takes over on downs. So Houston Nutt's team is going to go to 0-5 in the SEC. Their 11th straight loss in league play. The last time they won a conference game, October 2nd, 2010, when they beat Kentucky. All right, I'm going to ask you just flat out, where is Houston Nutt's job right now? Is he on the proverbial hot seat or not?
Houston Nutt's a good football coach, and people forget first 2 years he was at Ole Miss. They went 9-4 each of those years, won the Cotton Bowl. That hadn't been done at Ole Miss in 50 years. Houston Nutt's not going anywhere if Ole Miss is smart.
Kyle Frazier going to be driven back. Second down coming up. Houston Nutt. Yeah, back-to-back Cotton Bowls. The last 2 years have been a struggle. They have been trying to recruit, trying to keep up in a very tough division. Yeah. Not only are they in the SEC, but they're in the SEC West, where it's just a meat grinder.
And they've got some good young players. I mean, they've got 4 freshmen on offense that are playing right now that have skill, have talent, that can play in this league. They just need the experience. And if they can get Randall Mackey going from a perspective of running and throwing the football accurately, I think this offense can take off. And Houston Nutt knows how to coach. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get these young players up to speed.
Frazier's going to keep it, and he's going to be hit and dropped at the 15-yard line. You know, Houston Nutt will admit the suspension of Randall Mackey for the first game of the season maybe it wasn't his best decision. Randall Mackey stayed out a little late. Maybe it was too harsh of a punishment, and he thinks that it really hurt this offense. Mackey probably would have been the starter all along. As it turns out, he doesn't become the starter until midseason. Just over 2 minutes to go here in Auburn. Big lead for the Tigers. They're going to win it here tonight. Gene Chizik's Auburn Tigers going to go to 6-3, 4-2 in the SEC, and going into a bye week, a little nicked up as you might expect this point in the season. They'll have a chance to get healthy before the stretch run, and 3 games: Georgia, Samford, and the Iron Bowl against Alabama here in Auburn this year. Trey Mason on the fringe gets to the first down marker, but there is a marker down. And speaking of Alabama, LSU, Alabama coming up next week. Those teams idle this week. What an opportunity to get healthy and to look at some more game tape before that big clash next week.
Yeah, and an opportunity for the pressure to build even higher.
Yeah, true. And for the pundits to keep kicking it around.
Well, and in those kinds of games, as the pressure builds, you know, how does that affect how the game is played is the question. And you think that both defenses in that game are going to play well. That's a given. You know, Alabama and LSU are going to play well defensively, probably be a low-scoring game. And the outcome of the game will probably come down in pressure situations to whatever the weakest link is. And ironically, that ends up being the quarterbacks on both sides. Jarrett Lee, Jordan Jefferson, and A.J. McCarron on the other side. Who's going to make the plays in pressure situations, third down, red zone decisions that will determine the outcome of the game? I think that's how it's going to play out.
Dyer on third down. And he's going to be stopped at about the 18-yard line. Ball comes loose. Excuse me, that was Trey Mason on the carry. I'm going to rule that was down. I'm going to mark it down at the 19-yard line. I asked you before who you like in that game, and you declined to tell me.
You know, the interesting, the Mad Hatter is so interesting. He's so unique throughout college football. He's this he's a little bit or a lot Bo Schembechler, very conservative, one of the most conservative coaches in college football, but then you mix in a little bit of Bayou voodoo to him too, and what the decisions that he makes and the chances that he takes. It's a very interesting mix of conservative and risk, and I think it's hard to figure out what he's going to do.
Here's why I think Alabama is going to win. They're at home, and I think that's going to be the ultimate advantage for the Tide.
It's hard to argue, and certainly, special teams, you don't really talk about that, but special teams in these kind of games, I think LSU is going to have to do something on special teams if they're going to win on the road.
Fourth down coming up. Now, you mentioned something earlier today, and now that Arkansas did beat Vanderbilt, they're still in this thing in the West. And some weird things could really happen that would end up being a three-way tie.
Yeah, if LSU beats Alabama, then Arkansas and LSU will play at the end of the year, and anything can happen in that kind of a game.
Arkansas is definitely in this hunt in the SEC West. Ole Miss will have it at the 42 with 1:26 to go. Palmer and Pollock on Monday are going to be talking about LSU Alabama for sure. They're going to be dressed up in costumes. I don't know if it's going to be this look.
I hope not.
What is that? That's a Frankenstein on the left. That's Palmer, and Pollock is a vampire.
Yeah.
Dracula. 1 and 9 Eastern on Monday. Here's the West look. At this point, Auburn, we can put them at 3-3 now as this one is over. 6-3 overall, and Ole Miss 0-5.
Well, let me say this: Arkansas and LSU will play at the end of the year, but I don't believe Arkansas is in the class with LSU and Alabama, especially the way they played Vanderbilt today, the way they played Ole Miss a week ago. They're just not defensively in the same class as those two at the top.
Now, Vanderbilt turnover at the 2-yard line that was returned 94 yards for a touchdown. Really was the death knell for Vandy. They almost had the upset in Nashville today.
Well, and if they make a 27-yard field goal, they go to overtime, and anything can happen. So I've been impressed with Vanderbilt. We've had them a couple times, and they're going to be a good team. They'll scare some teams.
Don't forget, coming up, Sports Center U. Anish and company in the studio to get us updated on the day's events. Jeff Scott. 9-yard carry there after the catch. Ole Miss now, after this.
They got a big game of their own. The Egg Bowl. I mean, the Mississippi State game will be huge at the end of the year.
We'll be at Kentucky next week. You and I will be there for that in Lexington. Here's Mackey with 29 seconds to go. Looking to throw and gets it complete inside the 20 for a first down. Stop the clock to move the chains. Gain of 15. Here's the schedule. Louisiana Tech, LSU, and then at Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think next week will be a big week against Kentucky, a game they should win. And if Houston Nutt doesn't win that game, then you might even start to hear some rumors.
This is caught at the 4-yard line. Complete to Jamez Logan, the team's leading receiver coming into the week. A gain of 13. And Ole Miss would like to leave with a good taste in their mouth here. See if they can punch it in. 13 seconds to go. Mackey. Incomplete. 10 seconds. 9 seconds to go. A couple extra seconds ticked off, so 8 on the clock. What a home field advantage it's been for Auburn. This will be their 13th straight win at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Houston Nutt still coaching here, wanting to see this team pop it in with 8 seconds to go. Second down and goal. Mackey sprints out, pitches to Scott. Run out of bounds at the 4 with a second to go. Jamara White made the tackle. And the crowd is relentless. They do not want to see this Auburn defense allow a touchdown, even though this game is obviously decided.
Yeah, they are passionate here in Auburn. They love their football. They love their team. They understand what this season was going to look like coming in. And They know that a win in the SEC West, even if it's against Ole Miss, that's something to cheer about. Ole Miss had about 15 guys on the field.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. 10.
Well, they'll spot it back at the 10 now after the flag.
You're right. Houston Nutt is coaching to the end. He doesn't want any quit in his team. He understands he's trying to instill an attitude and a way of thinking and a winning attitude for his team, and fighting till the end is a big part of that.
Final play of the game. Fans that are left are very loud. Mackey caught. Nick Brassel with the touchdown. Mackey to Brassel.
Don't underestimate that, too. I mean, any positive that Ole Miss can take away from this game, and the confidence of Randall Mackey throwing an accurate ball, and a good catch from the young freshman.
41-23 the final. Gene Chiswick's Tigers win their 6th game of the season. They are bowl eligible now. And 13 straight wins here at home. Longest streak since 1993-94. Over that span, they won that many games here at home. And Dyer, our player of the game. What a game. 177 on the ground and a touchdown. Let's go down to Allison Williams.
Coach Chiswick, you pulled this one out, but it was tied at 17 at the half. What changed for your club?
Well, I'm just blessed to be around a lot of coaches that really, we made some good adjustments at halftime. We kind of saw, once the game got rolling, we kind of saw what was going on, and defensively we knew what we had to do to get better and stopping the run. And really everything else was just killing ourselves with turnovers and things you can't do to win games.
What did you have to do better to stop the run?
Well, we just had to, like I said, put an 8th guy down in the box and let our guys really, have a chance to see and draw up and see what they were doing. There were some new things in there that we had to get adjusted to. They did a great job adjusting. Our defensive coaches did a great job. Our offensive coaches did a great job, so it was big for everybody.
Offensively, it seemed you were able to establish the run in the second half. How?
Well, we just felt like, that was our game plan. We had to keep running no matter how bad it looked at some parts. It didn't look great all the time, but we had to stay at it. We had to keep doing it. We had to keep pounding the defensive line, and at that point, it just kind of worked out for us.
It's your 6th win of the season. What are your thoughts on becoming bowl eligible?
Well, we've got next week to kind of sit back and relax, and we got a bye week, and we need it. We're beat up, but we'll regroup and move on and see what happens.
Coach Chiswick, thanks for the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys.
They outscored Ole Miss 24-6 in the second half after that 17-all tie. And he mentioned the adjustments.
Well, the adjustments on defense and the adjustments on offense right on spot. They knew about Michael Dyer and what he could bring to the equation. But I think the other thing that they found out was Clint Mosley can play some quarterback. 4 touchdowns on the night tonight.
41-23 the final. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Brian Greasy, Allison Williams, and our entire crew, I'm Clay Matvick, saying so long from Jordan-Hare Stadium as Auburn gets its 6th win of the year. We now send you to SportsCenter U and Anish Shroff.